All right, there's a big developing story coming in from Pakistan where the Panama case verdict, the Supreme Court of Pakistan order to made JIT and order PM Nawaz and his two sons to appear in front of the JIT. The Supreme Court orders that the JIT to investigate how money transferred to Qatar. Prime Minister Hassan Hussein to appear before the JIT. 8 offshore companies were reported to have links with the family of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his brother. Well, let's take our viewers through the latest that we're getting in. Now, the Supreme Court in Pakistan today heard the high-profile Panama Papers case involving the country's Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and his family. Now, the case essentially seeks disqualification of 67-year-old Sharif over his alleged misstatement in his address to the nation on the April 5th and his speech before the National Assembly on May 16th, 2016.
Well, you rightly pointed out that the saga is not concluded for, the Sharif family. Definitely, they will have to appear before a joint interrogation team. And the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, his both son Hassan and Hussein, are required to appear before the joint interrogation team. But I can tell you the moment is before this historic judgment, the rumors were going the rounds here in Islamabad capital that maybe the Supreme Court is going to de-notify Nawaz Sharif. It's going to de-seat the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. So definitely these were the major, the threat for the ruling Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, but it's over now. So definitely this is the main thing that has given a chance to the PML, Nawaz Sharif, to celebrate the victory. But as you have rightly pointed out, a joint interrogation team has been constituted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and one thing more important is 5 judges heard this historic Panama case.
All right, Kashmir, once again, for the benefit of our viewers, there seems to be, at least by the face of what we are getting in and the information that is filtering in, a breather coming in for Nawaz Sharif. Could you give us exactly what transpired, how the 5-judge bench was split over it? Can you give us those details which work out in favor of Mr. Nawaz Sharif?
Well, you have rightly pointed out, as I was telling you, 5 judges heard the case and 3 judges were in favor of Nawaz Sharif. They strongly protested and they strongly given, the verdict in favor of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. But 2 of the other judges, Justice Gulzar and Justice Mr. Khosa, they tried to convince the other fellow judges to de-notify Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. But as you correctly pointed out, that the judges at the bench was split and 3 went in favor of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, and this is the main point that the ruling party is going to celebrate the victory. And also another most important point is the 5 judges the formulated the joint interrogation team, and definitely the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif along with his son will have to appear before the joint interrogation team. But I tell you the moment this is a win-win situation for the opposition and also for the ruling party. But the rumors were doing the round made before the the historic judgment. But this is now Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif is going to be the Prime Minister until 2018.
All right, Kashmir, just stay on with us. Let's bring in Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant, who's joining us from the newsroom as well at this point of time. Gaurav, with what we are getting in, initial news filtering in, it's a breather for Nawaz Sharif. The 5-bench judge was split there. So a joint investigative team is in place, a 2-month period given to them to come up with what they investigate. But having said that, put this in perspective. Pakistan goes to election in a year's time. What are these developments? How are they going to impact that?
So it's a respite for Nawaz Sharif, a breather, but he's weakened, politically considerably weakened. 60 days is what he has. But the army, as always, pulls the strings. And now this last 1 year that he has before elections, he'll be a lame duck prime minister. Yes. Because one, as far as China policy or India policy is concerned, clearly it is, the army that anyways calls the strings. Now, Nawaz Sharif can't dare fall out of line with whatever the army is saying because he has the sword of the Panama Papers hanging over his head. It's a 3-2 verdict. 2 judges wanted him disqualified. There are papers that talk about the wealth that his family has. His daughter Mariam and the two sons, they're directors in companies overseas, and here we're talking about billions of dollars stashed abroad. So in an election year, Nawaz Sharif can't just afford to fall out of line with the army.
So clearly, Gaurav, what you're saying is that this next year, practically, Nawaz Sharif is going to be functioning with one arm tied behind his back.
Well, he's a lame duck prime minister in more ways than one. He did start off on a very, very strong footing, reaching out to Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India. As far as the India-Pakistan policy was concerned, he tried to reach out, consolidate domestically, but it's the Pakistan that calls the shots in every which way, whether it's Pakistan-America relations, whether it's Pakistan-Afghanistan relations, Pakistan-Iran relations, Pakistan-China relations. All of them are called by Pakistan Army. Internally, Imran Khan is breathing down his neck. Imran Khan yesterday made a statement of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leader, saying that now history is going to be made in Pakistan. But 60-day breather is all Nawaz Sharif has now.
All right, Gaurav, stay on with us. We have Hamid Mir as well on the phone line with us, senior journalist from Pakistan. Mr. Mir, how does this impact Nawaz Sharif right now, and now this joint investigative team that has been set up? Who all would need to appear before it? Will the Prime Minister need to appear? The family need to appear? Would you give us details?
You see, this is not a consensus verdict. The three judges of the Supreme Court, they said that Prime Minister should face a criminal investigation, and the joint investigation team will be constituted within 7 days from today, and this joint investigation committee will present its report to the Supreme Court in 60 days. But the two remaining judges of the bench, they gave another view, and they said that Prime Minister failed to justify that he was not involved in money laundering. He was failed to provide evidence that the property in London doesn't belong to his family. And they said that the Prime Minister of Pakistan was proved a dishonest person, so he should be disqualified. So it was a 5-member bench. 3 judges said that Prime Minister should face a criminal investigation. Two judges said that he should be disqualified. So it's a divided verdict, and I think that it will put some more pressure on Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. The judgment is very long, 540 pages, and I have just started reading it. So I will read it, and then I will be in a position to make...
So it's not all win for, so he's not... It's a very small breather then, Mr. Mir, with what you're saying, because even the three, the 3 members, the 3 judges in that bench have said that he needs to face criminal investigation, if I'm right. Is that what you said?
Yes, you see, the bench was divided on purely technical basis, because the 3 judges of the bench were of the opinion that the documents provided by the lawyers of Imran Khan, the documents were actually the photocopies of some property documents.
Yes.
So they said that technically these documents are not admissible. So that's why they said that a joint investigation team should be established, and that team should verify the authenticity of the documents.
A lot, Mr. Mir, now would be... I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Mir, a lot would be dependent on who forms who is a part of the JIT then.
Family of the Prime Minister. Thank you.
Mr. Mir, can you hear me? All right, we seem to have lost Mr. Mir. Let's bring in Kashwar at this point of time, and then we'll go across to Gaurav Sawant. Kashwar, a lot will depend on who forms this 7-member team. Now, I believe it's going to, the time span is about a week's time that has been given that this joint investigative team needs to be formed. And second question, Kashwar, who all need to appear before it? Will the Prime Minister need to appear before it? Will the members of his family need to appear before it?
Well, definitely an important question. As I told you earlier, that the court has ruled to form a joint interrogation team, and also the court clarified that the members of Security Exchange Commission of Pakistan first, and then secondly the officials of the higher official of National Accountability Bureau of Pakistan, and then third third point was the members of the officials of federal investigation team of Pakistan must be a part of this joint interrogation team. So the JIT is going to consist of 3 departments of Pakistan. But as far as your other question is concerned, the court has clarified that the Prime Minister of Pakistan, his boss son, must be appear before the joint interrogation team to clarify how did they send the money from Pakistan to Qatar, first one, and also during the hearing this important case, the Sharif family told the court that they had also, set up a steel there in Qatar. So court has also asked that the JIT team should be that what was the source of setting up this steel mill. So definitely the Prime Minister of Pakistan, his family members, and so the two sons are going to stay before the joint interrogation.
Kashmir, stay with us. We're getting in a guest. I believe we're getting a defense analyst from Pakistan. Let me also bring in executive editor Gaurav Sawant, who's joining me in the studio. Gaurav, it's not such a big breather as we were pointing. We were looking at it earlier. If you look at it, even the 3-member judge supporting him have said that he needs to face criminal investigation.
What is worse for Nawaz Sharif, Preeti, is the fact that he is now at Pakistan Army's mercy completely. Take a look at this portion from the verdict.
Yes.
The joint investigation team is to include officers of the NAB, the FIA, the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan. Here comes the sinister part.
Yes.
It includes officers of Pakistan's inter-services intelligence and the military intelligence. And this is what the 5-judge bench is saying, that it will be led by a Director General level officer of the FIA. So very clearly now, Nawaz Sharif is at the mercy, not just over the next 60 days, but till the time elections are called, at the mercy of Pakistan's ISI.
Gaurav, just stay on with us. I believe we have Raza Kasuri, Pakistan Supreme Court lawyer, on the phone line with us, and maybe, he can give us a little more information on what this order is. Yes, it's a really long order. One needs to go through it. It's just come in. But Mr. Kasuri, can you give us, the big points of this order? Can you just take us through that, please?
Well, this is called a split decision, and the normal procedure is when a larger bench hears the case, the decision of the majority member, that is the court decision, and the other member who have not agreed with that decision, that's called a dissenting note.
Yes.
So the court decision is that a GIT will be established, and my friend who was just talking to me earlier on, that will be comprised of FIA and Security Commission and ISI and the NAB, etc., etc. So the matter is not yet over. Matter is not yet over. Nawaz Sharif has to establish 2 things. Number one, the money trail, because once his children accepted that offshore company belongs to them, then the onus shifted on them. They have now to establish that where from the money came. And money is not in thousands or in lakhs, it is in billions. Now, those children were minor at that time. How come minors had such a huge funds to establish foreign companies? So first thing is money trails. And they, in a very awkward manner, they tried to establish the money trail by the letters of Qatari prince, those letters in the eye of evidence law is neither here nor there, because in that letter they were only mentioning what they heard from here and there. And one of the basic principles of evidence law is hearsay evidence is no evidence.
Mr. Kasuri, could you tell me one more question, sir? Can I come in? And there's one basic question I want to ask you. After the JIT puts forward its report after 2 months' time, can the Prime Minister still be disqualified?
Yes, why not? Because the only difference is that 2 judges have concluded, which are minority decision, that on the basis of the record, neither Nawaz Sharif has been able to establish the money trail, nor the transfer of money from Pakistan to abroad was it done through State Bank or was it through money laundering? In either case, if that is established, then he ceases to be sagacious and Sadiq and Amin, which are the requirement under the Constitution, under Article 62 of the Constitution.
So the sword of disqualification still hangs on his head then?
Oh yes, it's not.
So he's only got a 2-month breather.
It is a, just an oxygen. See, he has been put on a respirator. See,
so it's not put on a respirator. Right. So he still stands to lose. Okay, Gaurav wants to come in. Our executive editor also wants to come in at this point of time, sir. So Gaurav, it's interesting. It's only a 2-month breather. The sword of disqualification still hangs on the Prime Minister's head. And that is in 2 months' time, he could actually lose his Prime Ministership.
What is worse? What is worse for Nawaz Sharif? The evidence that he put forth has been dismissed by court. A letter from the Qatari royal submitted to court as evidence by Nawaz Sharif's lawyers was dismissed by the bench, which said that the transfer of money to Qatar must be examined by court. So the evidence that Nawaz Sharif produced in court has not been accepted. So, you know, as our learned friend from Pakistan was just telling us, the evidence that Nawaz Sharif has put forward needs to be examined. His children stashing away money abroad. Now, the children were minors at that point of time. Where did Nawaz Sharif get all this money that was stashed abroad? Whether it's a house in London or the luxury cars or wherever else the Panama Papers talk about.
Mr. Kasuri, will the children of Nawaz Sharif now appear before the JIT?
Well, there's a direction from the court that Nawaz Sharif and his 2 sons, who own these companies abroad, they have to appear because, you know, the sons were minor at that time. How come that minor had got such a huge money in their pockets? You see, naturally it was the father who transferred the money from the kickbacks and various other commissions.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Mr. Kasuri. Important point you've made there, sir. In 2 months' time, once the JIT, which is the Joint Investigative Team, submits its report, Mr. Sharif could still be disqualified as Prime Minister. Let's bring in Lieutenant Colonel retired Shafqat Saeed. He's a defense analyst from Pakistan. He's joining us now. Mr. Saeed, as our executive editor Gaurav Sawant also stated, clearly now the Prime Minister is at the mercy of the army. Primarily so because look at the formation of the JIT. One esteemed member of that JIT is the ISI.
You know, ISI is not what you think of. It is a
I'm just saying for what it is, sir. They are a member of the Joint Investigative Team. I'm just giving you facts.
They are. But no, it appears absolutely obtuse to you because of your tinted opinion about ISI.
Sir, I am only giving you facts. Tell me. No, sir. Come on. What is, Lieutenant Colonel, what is wrong with the fact in saying that it's a 7-member team? A part of that will be the ISI. Is there anything wrong in that statement?
No, I said it is correct, but you said you comment on this. I am saying that it is just a normal function. Saying this, that he goes on to the mercy of army and ISI, this is wrong. ISI and MI are the government security agencies. They have expertise, they have ability, they have records, and they have the potency to go after things which other agencies cannot. Therefore, the members have been included in the team. Saying this, that Nawaz Sharif Sahab has gone on the mercy of the army is not correct.
No, Mr. Saeed, you know, the Colonel Saeed, the question is, no, we're not saying it, but it's a, and let me bring in our executive editor Gaurav Sawant on this as well. You know, Gaurav, the fact that the Prime Minister has been a puppet Prime Minister has not been lost on anyone. Would you try and explain that to Colonel Saeed there?
No, Colonel Saeed is a member of the Pakistan, was a member of the Pakistan Army. He's a mechanized infantry officer. He knows that well. You know, whether it's the China policy, the India policy, the US policy, all of that is controlled by the Pakistan Army anyways. No, it's a fact. When there's a terror attack in Afghanistan, Afghanistan's president does not talk to the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He speaks to the Army Chief of Pakistan to sort out terror. That is point one. And point two, why would an officer of military intelligence, Colonel Saab, why would an officer of military intelligence and ISI. So you have an officer of Pakistan's ISI and an officer of Pakistan's military intelligence, both a part of this joint investigation team. So clearly now Nawaz Sharif, if he wants to survive for the next 1 year or perhaps longer, he has to listen to the Pakistan Army, come what may.
Gaurav, I think you are talking things, you are jumping ahead of the gun. You are talking things on baseless presumptions. And why army chief speaks to the Afghan president or Afghan government because Pakistan and Afghanistan are fighting a war, a menace, which confronts them both, and they need to talk to each other. And Pakistan army is so thickly involved in this war that Afghan president has to speak to him. And whenever it comes to national, international affair, bilateral affair, he does consult Prime Minister and others. But for different minute details, he has to go to the army chief.
Why
And
should
then
the
he would say
Pakistan ISI,
Yes.
Colonel Saab, why should the ISI be a part of this JIT? It defies logic. It's a civilian investigation. It's an investigation in a foreign country. Why should military intelligence and ISI be a part of the JIT?
Gaurav, I would ask you one thing, that you please shut out this, throw out this ISI phobic feeling in your mind and Pakistan army phobic feeling. I think half of your problems would finish. And
I
you
think
would
Nawaz
be able
Sharif is
to
the one with
come on.
problems,
No,
not
sir.
I.
Concrete
Nawaz
sort of
Sharif is the one
conclusion.
with problems,
No,
Colonel
sir,
Saab.
one
your
second.
deductions of all facts is
No, one
always
second,
biased
sir. It's a
because of
basic
your
question. Sir, it's a basic
public
question.
sentiments about Pakistan army and ISI.
The Panama case involves alleged illegal money laundering. What is the role of the ISI
Yes.
and the Pakistan military in it? What will they investigate? It's a civil
There are
investigation.
7 members.
We
Okay,
just want
there
to
are
know
7
that.
members.
Nobody's casting any aspersions there. What is the role that an ISI and the military of Pakistan play in the joint investigative team when it concerns a civil investigation involving illegal money laundering? What could possibly their role be?
May I answer now?
Yes, please.
You repeated this question 3 times. Now may I answer? May I
Sure,
answer
sir.
this?
It's all yours.
Okay. I wish that you hear me. You know, I told you earlier also that there are 7 members, and out of those 7 members, 2 are members. One is from ISI and one is from MI, which is appearing very dubious to you. These 2 members would assess the rest of the team in going into the great details. I told you that potency and ability of Pakistan, these 2 organizations of Pakistan, that is ISI and MI, is far more superior.
So, sir, you're saying the ISI and the MI will assess the other team members?
Yes, they would assess the DG, FIA, the member from NAB and member from Security Commission, Security and Exchange Commission.
Assess them in what regard, sir? You think the other team members are not competent
Assess
enough to
them
do their
once
job?
they, you know, they have been given a mandate. They have to find out the trail of money. And this trail of money is not only in the geographical bounds of Pakistan, it is also abroad. And they would also carry out investigations and interrogation. I can't say interrogation, but interviews or sessions. And I think they want to use the expertise of ISI and MI.
So what expertise? And it's just, you know, a question because it's just an... what expertise will the ISI and the MI bring in a case of illegal money laundering? What is the expertise they could...
I told you once, it is tracking the trail of money abroad and in land.
Gaurav,
So
I want you to come in.
nobody is better than ISI.
Gaurav, I want you to come in. Is it any way related? Can the ISI and the MI be responsible? A, they're going to actually wet the entire team of, you know, which weakens the position even further, because it does seem that the ISI and the MI would be calling the shots, because the 7-member team would be wetted by the MI and the ISI. Secondly, how is it connected, Gaurav? Can the ISI and the MI, of course, in Pakistan, they follow whatever rules that they follow, but in any other country, establishments such as this would be involved in investigating illegal money laundering?
You know, that's the nature of Pakistan's democracy, of its entire existence since 1947. It's actually 50% times ruled by the army, 50% times ruled by the army by proxy. So, you know, the ISI is all powerful, the military intelligence is all powerful. And that is where Nawaz Sharif is in a very, very precarious situation
and Pakistan
now.
is still existing.
Of course it's existing, and how it is. I mean,
Yes,
the
and
whole
that is
world
the
knows
reason.
how
That
Pakistan
is
is
what hurts
existing.
many people
Exactly,
around the
that
world.
Pakistan is existing purely on the strengths or the weaknesses of Pakistan army, and that is where an elected prime minister now will be at the mercy of Pakistan army and ISI, because the ISI and military intelligence will be directly supervising the investigation ordered by the Supreme Court in Pakistan. So that is where Nawaz Sharif is in a very, very precarious position, because from this point on, so 60 days for the report to come out, whether that report indicts him or finds evidence against him, whether it's the flat in London, Hassan and Hussein, his two sons, how did they have money? How were they directors of companies? And as the lawyer was just telling us that they were minors, so was it Nawaz Sharif who was actually using his son's and Mariam's name to stash away money abroad? Because the evidence that is put forward, Preeti, and that is extremely significant, the letter from the royals of Qatar, that has been dismissed by the Supreme Court, because that was supposed to be money presented to him by them, and the Supreme Court says, sorry, that's not evidence.
All right, stay on with us, Gaurav. We still have Kashwar there. He's got some more details, I believe. Kashwar Klasla still with us. Kashwar, I believe you got some more details. All right, I see. Kashwar, can you hear me? All right, we're going to try and realign our audio link with Kashwar Klasra there. Gaurav, let me bring you back in. Now, what does this mean for India? Because still now, of course, with whatever was going on, now the Pakistan army, the ISI, now seeming to have full control there with what has gone down today. What does it translate for India?
That India, if at all, has to deal with the lame duck prime minister. And anyway, India is dealing with Pakistan at a diplomatic level as of now. Just the two high commissioners in touch, or the two DGMOs in touch. But clearly no forward movement can be expected anyways with Pakistan, given the fact that even when Prime Minister Narendra Modi made that visit to Lahore, which was followed up by that Pathankot terror attack, and then another terror attack in Uri. So very, very clearly, it's the Pakistan army that calls the shots. Nawaz Sharif has no control over the Kashmir policy or the India policy. Whatever he rattled off or his rant even at the United Nations was dictated by Pakistan army. So either India starts dealing with the Pakistan army directly, or it's going to be the way the relationship is at this point of time, handle the Pakistan army the way Indian army is at this point of time, because Nawaz Sharif is now just a lame duck prime minister.
All right, I believe Gaurav, Kashwar, our colleague, not Kashwar, Mr. Saeed, Colonel Saeed is back with us. Gaurav, do you want to take a question with him?
Colonel Saeed, is that correct appreciation that Nawaz Sharif now remains a mere lame duck prime minister, Colonel Saab?
I think so. He would not be enjoying the same, he would not be the same go, because now the court has almost given judgment against him. This is judgment against him. And it is only that matter of the finding the trail, and if the joint investigation team finds out the trail, I think the rest of the three judges' requirement would be satisfied, and they would agree with the other two. The other two had already recommended or given decision that he should be disqualified and he should resign.
All right, Colonel, appreciate you joining us. Gaurav, thank you for joining us. What we're going to do is just recap the big takeaways from this development that has taken place in the Panama Papers case where Nawaz Sharif is concerned. Now, it was a 5-judge bench. It's been split, where 2 asked for disqualification. The 3 there not asking for disqualification but criminal investigation against Nawaz Sharif. So what's happened now is a joint investigative team is in place. It has 2 months to come up with a report. And interestingly, it is going to be vetted, and 2 members of that 7-member joint investigative team is the ISI and the MI there in Pakistan. So one can well imagine how the Prime Minister is going to function from here on.